All right, now my headphones. We got audio. Great, let's do it. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so the things that I'm hunting for, I wasn't expecting to do this, but I got to do it, is you actually, I need to know that everybody turned in their for final and not their for update. They are two different things, and the goal of me giving you feedback is for you to implement feedback. So I'm just cross-checking to make sure that things are valid. Checking undergrad. Jan. Okay, so we do have a change on a page. I must be honest, there's not a lot of feedback I can provide you with, sir. Right? And I don't want to duplicate what I've already said because that's annoying. So, only feedback I can give you is on this, right? Alright, see if you can take some of the whiteness out of the shadows. It looks a bit ashy. Also, me and Daddy Train had a pretty lengthy conversation about this. It's like you're doing different product offerings for different reasons. Like they hit either different target consumers or maybe different types of retail, maybe different types of like instructional implications. Like I need to read the label, so this one's made to read the label, or another one's meant to be sleek. I don't know. It's not my studio. But if you can give me an idea of the directions you took with each one, I appreciate their development more thoroughly. Because right now I see three options, and three options are good, but why do you have three options? And why are they to that form of fidelity? Because when we go from information, this has got to get cleaned up. It's not that it doesn't look clean. Let me back up. It just doesn't look interesting. How can you take this information and contextualize it in something that is like medicinal or has to do with health? Because I mean, I can find this in any project. Why does it fit in this project? Concept generation. Maybe you introduce the idea here. Something that me and Danny talked about, thought that was good, is like do different color coding, and that way it gives me an idea no matter what I see. Is anything is, we'll say RGB, so anything that's in the red is for this type of concept. Anything that's green is in this type of concept. So maybe there's a metering, dispensing, and watertight. Are those the three features? Metering, dispersion, watertight. You're making me guess. I don't want to guess. So if you tell me up here, and when you color code it, anytime I see it, very intuitive, I know what I'm looking at. What things were you trying to achieve? What worked? What didn't work? Why are these more of a success? That's about all I can give you on that one. Mural, right? Okay, cool. Do you ever like the company you work with? RCP? Okay. Page is fun. Alright, what are the considerations? Represent Huntsville without being overly cliche. Yep. Yep. Okay. What is the style of the camp, right? If it has this flow with that style, some descriptions would be nice. Seems kind of hipstery industrial. Alright, I feel like there's supposed to be a page in between. I'd like to see concepts if you don't have any concepts. Maybe like an inspiration page. What are the elements you could drop into this? And then I see how you drop them in. I'm like, oh, that's either clever or it's not clever. But by going from blank canvas, this is our final line work, it's too much of a jump just for me. I do like the final output, right? And I like being able to, so these are the state parks, the rivers, the cove. Are they all the same color? Are they orange at all? See, you have so many color palettes on the next one, it's almost difficult to put a color on this because the only one that stays is your Monte Sano State Park. Anything else say orange? No. So is there a color that's not using the mural that you can go, okay, so we're looking at zones in this one, not coloration. This is coloration. I'm interested in the color choices. And I think that should be introduced early, right? It's outdoorsy, but what else is this? Would I think that mural is outdoorsy? Not from its abstract form, but it's an inspiration, yes. So how do you communicate to me, the reader? Ooh, these are nice. That's pretty cool. I don't really care about the dimensions of it. I'd rather let's go back and find somebody who works for the camp or a young person, old person who was working there and give me a direct quote. This is such a good thing for the community. I hope it spurs interest in the arts. Something like that. This is factual. I want more emotional. Still, the suggestion. This is the first thing I look at. Actually, it was a shadow, and then that was the second thing I looked at. If it's possible to fix, please do, because, man, it's like it's almost perfectly in the center of my eye goes here, and it shouldn't. It should be seen as the thing that took hours, nay, weeks to build. Cosette, quattro, was it un, deux, trois, un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq. Here we go, we're getting it back. Talk about this one. It's a weird page. I mean, I know you're talking about oral thin film. It looks sterile. It looks, I don't want to say industrial, but it's a very foreign picture. Is it about the picture or is it about the information? So maybe the information goes center. Cool oral thin films. Why is it needed? Good question. Delivery applications. It doesn't really matter how you do it. You just get the stuff. Talk about doing colorations. Yeah. Starting it here. What are the things you're looking for? Basic word. How is it embodied in the sketches? The sketches turned into models and then prototypes, and then finishing the prototypes. Yeah, we talk about pairing this one. Where does it? Yes, these go together. What's supposed to go here, though? Prototyping. Okay. Okay, why was this a decision made? You have 3 options from 3 different categories, and it seems like this is the most important one because that's the one you picked. And it is. So why that one? Why is that one most successful? Models. It's great you learned form studies. I think it's like a secondary or tertiary element. What did you learn from doing this? This needs to be put back in context too, this page. Okay. Nice. I know it is for now, right? Movie poster. Good addition. Ooh, Paul, we can't do this page. It's too much. Let's divide this into 2 pages. And if possible, let's put image, let's break it up in thirds. So this is 1 page, this is 2 page. 1 page, 1/3 image, 2/3 info, written info. Same thing for answers. 1/3 image, 2/3 info, and it might be tall, right? Like column 1, 2, 3. Rule of thirds are typically good. Is it essential to put Lamar on every single page? Reason why, it's just, it kind of feels thrown down in there, and it's a little visually distracting. If you say it here, actually, I think Lamar Advertising lets you use their logo because it's instantly recognizable. And ID, of course, if you did it, then it's an ID project. I'm getting some issues with fonts. Sure, actual size. Like you see, it might just be my screen. The middle part of the S is really thin. I think you got another space here you don't need. So S's aren't really coming through. So that could be me. Just make sure it's good on your screen. Instead of saying good locations, because good isn't strong enough a word for the situation, maybe favorable locations, ideal locations. And is this research or this is like insights? Something that you got from, we had questions, we answered the questions, and this is like the so what response. All right, got to format this page. Yeah, any Auburn, any university BBL. I agree with you. Let's lighten up the leader lines, and let me see. I think we're good in terms of it overlapping. Context is great. You don't need the Auburn background. I think up here when you're talking research and Q&A, you can use images that are uniquely Auburn. Maybe question and answer has the Auburn campus, but scaled down. All right, let's go back here one more time. These are questions. This kind of lays out the problem. This is insights. These are ideal places to put them. Good. What I want is a little bit more text and a little bit more justification. Actually, let's not do this. I think this is a bad idea. Do a grayed out human figure next to it so I instantly know scale and even a little bit of context instead of saying 11 foot tall, 9.5 foot tall. You see how visually these are almost the same size? And this one's supposed to be 11, so it's a foot and a half taller. If you put a human scale, I can assume some of those things, or I can put those pieces together. With the scale you've given me and the numbers you've given me, I go, one of these are off. And rarely do you actually see feet monitors. Just go with inches. Everybody understands the inches diagonal of monitors. I think these are good. What do you mean by universally put on campus? My question is, yes, you're not really telling me any information I don't already know. Of course you can put it on campuses. You could put it anywhere you wanted to. What I'm interested in is what good is it to the people, the patrons, student, non-student, and how does your design benefit Lamar? That's what I'm going for. That doesn't look good. Looks great. Doesn't look great. Talk about this in class. Show me you have 3 different iterations, but the thing is you've got to zoom in and because it's taking up maybe 10% of your page, the interesting portion. Zoom that up so I can appreciate your decision making better. Okay. And that, I think it's about the same. Go back to, what are their faces? Nervous system. And if it's possible to look at their weeks Instagram stories, I would. I mean, I do know they delete after 24 hours, but over the last 2-3 days, I've seen them posting. So that might be good, giving you good examples of ways to show your work, especially because it's strikingly similar to yours. Yeah, haven't really seen any BBL. I know you're getting to it, but I'm curious at this point. And you're really talking about a manufacturing process, which is rare, but also really good for us. All right, that's it. See y'all tomorrow during times. I'm just joking. Because this happened. I didn't know it happened until hours later, but I ain't mad about it. Turn your stuff in. Hawkins. Look at us. I do appreciate your initiative. Good, that page lightened up some. This needs some help though. It's like a picture inside of a picture, and my eyes go to the what's wrong first. It sees that first, sees that second. So is there a way to capture this? Would it be possible to make it look like these cutout pages are on top of your artboard instead of on top of a physical board within an image? It still doesn't feel right. Who are these people? Summer classics. How long was this internship? Curious. So I get relaxed. Alright, keep in mind, every time you throw sketches in here, I'm going to gauge you on your worst sketch. So, one option, this might be easier to erase. You got a weird bleed from one to another. Have I seen that in other projects before, or is this new? And it seems like here, you're intending to have a bleed like the other ones, but it doesn't continue. Same with that, it doesn't continue. But up here it totally works out. So, what? Why? I don't know. Come on, quit trying to front me. That one and that one are the same. That one and that one are the same. That one and that one are the same. So why not just the yellow? Strong it, relaxed. So that's what we're going for. I like the way this is set up. It's cool. Split black and personally, I want more information on what you're going for, but I'm satisfied with split black increases, visual interest. So the split black created interest. These are developments. Problem is like check, check, check. Is this one the only one you got an X? And why are these equally checks? Is check circle different than check? I think like normal, I'm just interested in the decision-making process. I mean, it's good you talked about being flexible, but what about decision-making? Okay, cool. We're good then, that's what I was hunting for. Unique interact, simple interactions. And at what point do you choose? Yep. Okay. Love it. I mean, that's honest. That's about as real as it gets. I think anybody who reads this who actually does design is going to go, yeah, that's real life. This person can handle real life decisions because he's already dealt with it. No regrets. La 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 la, wait till I get my money right. Okay, so you're talking about mass management development, and I'm looking at these two, and I don't see any changes. I need to find these changes. What are the changes in aesthetics? I don't see them. Why? And we don't want to use cheaper. You want to use cost effective because it's a positive term. And then if you don't know it, make it up. And what are the cost-saving changes? I'm curious. I don't know. I need you to tell me. From what to what? Cool. Good call. Context. Looking for context. Hey Ben, it's your boy Jack. Been looking for something to Photoshop. I think you can finish on one of these, but when I see furniture, done furniture, this is what I think of. So just have renderings, it feels incomplete. I think a hesitation that I have is never going actual. What's up with this side? What's up with this? Never going to a physical environment is it's just a modeling and rendering project. So I'm not really sure if it's ever carried out into fruition. Also, one of the biggest things that keeps models from looking realistic is 90-degree angles. If you can radius these edges, and I don't know what you build in, you can radius the edges either in your renderer or in the modeling software. It'll make these timbers look more realistic. I'm gonna let you make the call on this one. I feel like it needs context, and I think you have to do a re-render unless this is a PNG, because the shadows would be crazy difficult to superimpose. I think the biggest part happens here. That's the most interesting thing to me. You need to expand on this first. Now after you expand on it, consider working on the last of it, but your focus needs to be on the mass manufacturing element. Yes. The Heart Project. All right, Miss Lady, what's up? Okay. What's up with your screen? Actually, I'd say weeks on this one. It ain't October through April. March, April, May. Because I think I left for Ireland in March. And we didn't work on it. I know the time is shorter than that, and so I wouldn't overestimate. I'd be a bit more succinct. I see the Dropbox logo every time I see that. People, cool. I'd rather see this be almost full width, and then for moving is underneath, because it feels like two sections. The challenge, how do you reimagine transportation system of the future? Okay. For moving bodies and packages. It works, but if I miss this part, and I probably will because visually it's the third most important thing, challenge for moving bodies and boxes and protecting. What was our statement? I like what you're trying to say. Content-wise, it's fun, but visually, it's confusing. Challenge for moving, protecting. Protecting what? Efficiently, conservationally, conservatively, responsibly. What are we protecting? It's the biggest thing. And we were protecting cities. I mean, natural resources, yes. Places you want to go, aka destinations, yes. Also protecting small business with some of that. Interesting page. I need you to explain it though. What do you mean by safety? What do you mean by comfort? What do you mean by benefits? What do you mean by interest? You can't use that because it says target. Also, just, it feels like it needs more content. I think this could come from the content. We made this campus where these things are heightened, and the solution is walking. But visually, I don't see that. You see that little white spot? I think this is something you and who else is over here? Hefe and Katie together and say, you know, if we made one project out of this, what would it be? Because you could really help each other. I don't see why not. Let me look. All right, let me see what you did earlier. That way I'm not going to be repetitive. I'm not really sure this is necessary. I mean, you're pulling your sub-brand off of what they're doing today, not 1985. So get rid of that and just keep what's going on today. Innovative and athletic. Yes, I would describe them as innovative and athletic, spell check. But I have two images. I guess these are two images that you're referencing. All right, if they are innovative and athletic, how are you taking these aspects and building them into this sub-brand called Indulge? And keep in mind, I'm not going to read through the first time. All I see is physics-conscious people, health-conscious people. You want Indulge to be healthy and inspiring, good, but is it innovative? Is it athletic? Innovative, maybe. Athletic, I'm not really sure. Also, the spacing on this, really it shouldn't be equally spaced between both of them. Tone of voice should be grouped with this paragraph. And so, increase space here, decrease space here. Okay, I don't know how you need to go on that page. What to do with these next two pages? It's like I need a transition. So you made a sub-brand, you gave it a logo. What does it stand for? And why do we need pamphlets in the first place? Yeah, what does the Nike Indulge, like what does it do? Because I mean, for solving problems, I need to know what Nike Indulge does. There's a nutrition plan. The problem is, like, I shouldn't have to come back and like hunt for these things. I think a sequence of use could be very helpful. If you had like 5 or 6 scenes, how does someone engage with an Indulge? You get this pamphlet, you scan the QR code, then what? Because I mean, it looks fine, but I just don't know what good it is. And why do we need a POP display other than 30 years said you needed a POP display? And in terms of color palettes, no, I think we should still stick to the same teal that you've been using instead of jumping over to red. And then another thing is all this is sans serif. No serifs, no serifs, no serifs. These are serifs. So this is in the wrong style. Okay, is this the entire thing an LED screen? I mean, I know the topic is to make a POP display. Oh no, it's just this section. It's so difficult for me to give feedback on this. Because the question is, all right, this is the system, this is how I got to, like, why do you need a POP display? Or how is your brand emphasized through this POP display? That's something you could, instead of saying this is a brief introduction, key function, what makes it uniquely Indulge and what makes it uniquely Nike? Because if it is a brand extension, it's not so much about what it does, it's about matching the sub-brand. Cool. Thank you for fixing the hyphenation. Also, too much words and also really difficult to read because I'm distracted by the kids in the colorful playground every couple of words. I do enjoy the context, but shorten this down or shorten it to maybe 3 lines and pull it in. And then maybe put a white, transparent, 50% transparent box behind it. That way you can get enough contrast to read. And then on top of that is, because it's Playcore, that should be full opacity and that should be in the front instead of being faded in the background. Space on the kids. All right, you wanted to make a sundial. As I look at these, are they all sundial concepts? No. I don't think so. Callouts. I love callouts because it tells you what you're thinking as you progress. And right now, I see different shapes, but I don't see like unique thoughts. Additionally, this vignette, if this is your final, it should be about that big. The bigger it is, the more time it takes, and visually the more importance it has. So if we can scale this up and then we put that blue selection behind the image, I think it would be better and bring more positive attention to it. Okay. You need to put some color back into this. I mean, let's look at this page. Look at Playcore. Look at the colorfulness. Then we get down here, and it loses all its life. And you talked about earlier, read for hours in the sundial, and climb and play. So I need to see those two things happening. And I don't see anyone happening. So I need kids reading in it and kids playing on it. Surface materials I use will use. Surface material type I will use, and how to use them in my product. All right, yeah, I agree. Exploded view. Also, like, how does this thing work? Because it's really big, and so I need to see it like maybe at 3 times, like at 11 and a 1 and a 3. To see how it changes over time. And you said this is for playing on, but is that safe to play on? That looks pretty dangerous. And I don't know what this is at all. Yeah, I'd love to get more feedback, but I can't. As long as you're making progress, I'm cool with progress. Man, yeah, it's still pretty brutal. I mean, it has more content. There are some more things I can talk about, but overall it's pretty brutal. I like opening up with what is oral thin film. I think this is interesting. Currently, no dispenser. Can we say this first sentence? OTF prescriptions on the brink of revolutionizing the medicine market. Currently, there is no dispenser that exists that is airtight and childproof. So these are the things you're going after. You want airtight and you want childproof. Yeah, you definitely need icons on this. 40% difficulty swallowing pills. Okay, good points. So, if you're going after airtight, childproof, easy to digest, or apply, that's what I want to see you solve. It's got to be reformatted. And if you're going over those 3 criteria, solve for the 3 criteria. Remind me on the way. Man, that's a hot pit. That's a kind of a hot mess. It's just a lot on one page. Could you... I'm not really sure if I want survey research to spill over to the next page. Can we streamline this information? I mean, what type of bottles aren't portable? I mean, unless you're really like ibuprofen and you've got the 500 bottle. I'd say the majority of them are explicitly portable as they are. Prove me wrong. Huh. These are really close. Having the user base prefer seems... what's going on here? Prefer seems like a skeuomorphic response to ingesting pills in the same manner. I do like skeuomorphism, but my idea is the iPhone app icons, you were skeuomorphic. They looked like the real thing. Is this the right word to use here? I mean, it's definitely kind of like an inherited trait, because that's what the culture around pill taking is. Taking a thing, put it on your tongue with your fingers. So just check that word. I could be wrong. I'm just not comfortable with it yet. Hey, remember what I said? I gotta live up to it. Also, can you see some of this white? It needs to be like a PNG, but that. Re-rendering. Alright, it's still crunchy, man. Did you just tell me you're re-rendering things? I know it's in here. It's version 2. Re-rendering. This page change? Yes. Okay. Instead of doing circles, because this seems like blue circles are positive things, maybe red squares. I was saying these circles is like, oh, these are good things. Circles are always good. So maybe this type of feature is good and this type of feature is good. No, it's too simple. It's a negative. What's another way to communicate? This is a kind of a dead end instead of what we have there. Also, some of these sketches need some love. You see how it totally fades here? And the line quality is not right there, right? So this has like a 1-point line thickness, and this has like a 5-point line thickness. Ideally, you want them all the same. And this is the biggest one. Why is it good? I'm thinking a couple things could scoot, and then you give me a few words about why that's the one you chose to pursue. All right, what color palette are you working with here? Blue. All right. What instead of like a white fill? What about a clear fill on those leaders? All right. What did you learn from the sculpted model? Looks great. What did you learn? Exploded view. All right. Re-rendering. Okay. To me, these are really elementary. And if you were a second year or third year, I'd let you get away with it. But nah, you're past that level of sophistication. So, pros and cons to the model. Pros and cons to the exploded view. Maybe bump that to the left, bump that to the left, and give me a little bit interesting information. Did it meet your goals? What are your goals anyways? Enthusiastic, animated, and bright. Right? Enthusiastic, animated, and bright. Doesn't have anything to do with it. Enthusiastic, animated, and bright. No, you're not really affirming those things. Enthusiastic, something, and bright. No. So we're missing content-wise. You've got to lead me piece by piece. If you assume I'm dumb, things actually work out pretty good, because this means you're hitting all the things that need to get hit. All right. I want to put a flag on this. I need to come back to it. Yes. Simply out. Let's get that fixed. And give that just a little bit more space. The spacing is not good yet. Yeah, typical. All right, I think timeline's new. Let's get this thing to work. Maybe pull these all left and do filled in blue circle, hollow blue circle, blue outline here. Because I don't want to necessarily do that if I don't have to. Render groups, choose thing to refine, 3 words marketing, form, and function. Okay, so if that's what you're setting as a precedent, actually I think that's pretty important. I think you might need to touch on that again. Where do you transition? What am I looking for? The days are tough. Marketing, form, and function. Idea, marketing, function. So each one is gauged on marketing, form, and function. At some point, I want you to gather all right, let's see if I can understand this. So this led to this concept, phase 1 of one. Are you doing multiple concepts, or are you doing just one concept? I'm not sure yet. And try to keep all the text the same size. This is easy read. That's difficult to read. Yeah, good question. I don't know what's supposed to be there either. That's new. That's the same. Let's get that fixed up. Like, make this some type of segmented wheel. Because I see those two and go, alright, what's the difference? This is weird. I don't know why to see it, but I want that vertical line to be thicker. Don't have any orphans. I'm going to allow it because I'll say that 50 and percent are two different things, but don't have any orphans, and it appears to be an orphan. Alright, what's the problem? 85 start taking pills, yeah. I would say an alternate form of medication is longed for because the medication, truly, the medication, it doesn't change. It's the delivery of the medication. I would say like oral thin film medicine delivery is on the cusp of taking the market by storm. Something like that is the next big thing. All of the cure that comes in a red of is all the cure that comes with regular medication, but none of the hassle. Well, actually, there is hassle, right? It has to be watertight. You've got a design delivery system, and then it's brittle, and it's something people aren't used to. So I don't know if I'd sell that so far. Instead of a solution, let's call it like opportunities. Because you haven't solved anything yet. You have the potential of a solution, but you don't have a solution. That's why you're doing the design. Typically, I'd like to see some sketches. If you feel like you don't need some sketches, all right, cool. I also know you can develop 3 of them. I don't care if you use 3. I don't care if you use 1. But what are the positive attributes? Like, what does this thing need to have? Because, I mean, if it's really going to replace pills, what are things you have to have on the pill itself in the pill box? That have to be translated. So what can be removed, what can be added, or what needs to be added, or also some other questions you need to consider. Cool. That says are you doing this all black and white on purpose? It's a bit difficult to read. If you take this image into Photoshop, just do a little black feathering, or I guess it's burn, to make this a little bit easier to read. I mean, I can read it, but because of the white in the concrete, my eyes starts getting a little crazy. And so I think the goal to design a device, it's okay. I thought maybe our goal was to create a device that assisted people, that assisted visual impaired people using echolocation and binaural audio technologies. Alright, is this on purpose, right? It's a black and white. Right, really, if you're blind, you're not seeing black or white, you're just seeing dark. A lot of text, right? How it works. Honestly, I want a sequence of views. This 1, 2, 3, 4. That works good as an image, but I'd rather see steps. Talk to your friends. I know other people who do this project. All right. I think I want it works okay. Suggestion is get this thing off the wall, pull them inside a little bit, have a border. Oh, let's see. Adapt. Is that the name of the thing? Because it's capitalized and I'm curious. That's more like durable, though. Ergonomic and durable. Are those better words? You tell me. Alright, what are the goals? And what are you sketching through? Durable, great in transit. I feel like I need to be bigger. And I lose the human form here. It looks a little bit crunchy. Like that seems more in focus than that does. And why is a crossbody bag superior? Alright, feedback. Prototype 1, what did you learn? Prototype 2, what did you learn? Right? Because that's why we make things. Oh man, I'm getting tired and whew. Alright, Spencer, I think this page is like at full capacity. And I don't think necessarily anything needs to be removed. Can we go full width justification on this? Because that feels like full width. And this one's obviously left aligned. Can we make this more saturated, make it pop a bit better? One way to do that is if you can't saturate it some more, kind of like put a white mask of maybe 20% opacity white to knock back the rest of the image and bring the color thing forwards. Also, what are we trying to fix? Faster readiness, smaller footprint? Too much, not going to read it. Obviously it's prism fold, but I'm not willing to work that hard to figure out what a prism fold is. This helps me, right? Only the downside is I never see it since full collection, so full, unroll, unroll, unroll. What do I think? So I don't mind you like, going low sketching on this. Some project want to be super sketched. I love the models on it. What did you learn from your retail ready clip strip? And if it's in the reading, I'm not gonna go find it. I need like some give me direction, literal give me direction, a little leader or something similar. One sec. All right, let us resume. Resume. It depends on this in context pick. I feel like this page is too full. But then again, it's difficult to make a brand new page of things down below. So if they're in context picks, which that kind of is in context, right? I mean, what's the difference between this one and this one? Minus it's not in context yet. Small shipping format. This is small, but like, the details do matter. If you could superimpose like some tape on this thing, like the priority tape, it's like, oh, of course, it's meant for shipping. But right now it's just a box. There's my suggestion. And then, if this is one image, one big image that kind of works up here, fine, I'm okay with it. Rena. Totfuf? What's Totfuf? I know what OTF is, but am I missing something? And do you want a period or not? Punctuation. I feel like telling you a funny story about punctuation, but I'm too tired, so I won't. Can we change these? Like, you can still use like a rule of thirds, but can it be vertical instead? It just like they look really the same, and to avoid that, maybe bigger icon, word underneath, bigger icon, word underneath. Use the same principle, but a different interpretation. Okay. This is a weird page. I mean, it works. All right. We need callouts. Why? Because you're looking for form, function, and market potential. So, tell me, this is a good aspect for market potential. Intuitive form. Simple function based off a pen. Simple function based off a ratchet. Something, right? Tell me that you're thinking through the criteria you just gave me. Right? Are these combinations, or is this is your form one, that's your function one, that one's your marketing? I don't know. I just manage my expectations before I jump into your concepts. Come on, pages. I ain't got time for this. Fast. Okay. I need a page either before this one or after this one, because like these are three different concepts based on three different ideas. Danny Turn had a good idea. Instead of them all being blue, give it a different color, even if it's a slight color. So like more of a teal one, more of a purple one. That way when they go to concept one, it's more teal. Oh, so this came from this line of sketching. This one came from this line of sketching. But when they are, I mean, yeah, I can get it by the form, but I also want to get it intuitively without having to think so hard. I get it. Sequence of use, totally digging it. What are the pros and cons? Or just pros? It's discrete. What are the other good features? Kind of based off a metaphor, based off a push pop. One, two, and two. Interesting. Also, this is explain. It revealed the housing for the strips, but still, like, how do I get the strips? Also, I think there's a need for a subtle design cue here, like either a dimple, an inserted dimple, or a protruded dimple. Or would that add too much to manufacturing? Ugh, I don't want to. Because I feel like the project's done at this point, right? You gave me 3 successful concepts. Portability size, opportunity for mechanics. What do you mean opportunity for mechanics? This is confusing. I feel the project is done, but then there's still pages afterwards. That should have been first. I mean, what do you mean concept one? What are you talking about regulations? Shouldn't the regulations come before you do the design? It's weird to have it afterwards. I think that's what I'm asking for first. Why? What's wrong with it? All right. Story-wise, I'm confused on why. You give me 3 solutions, then you go, oh, by the way, this is regulation. You should have told me that before you designed it, because you designed with constraints instead of like finishing. Oh, we had a constraint. This concept is good, but then you go back, you revisit. So I'm confused. All right. Still not digging that page. Like, what does it add? They're a science company. Like, what did the science company ask you to do? You could say, you could use CSP technology. CSP challenged us to integrate oral thin film, quotation marks, OTF, as a means to bypass GI tract. I think it's too important a bit of information just to kind of put it on a footnote, which it is literally a footnote. And let me see, you use it once. I'm trying to figure out where you're... I'm not really digging these headers and footers. You used it once. You could put the title within the page instead of in the footer. If it's like every other single project, maintain, but design problems maybe secondary, situations primary, and the text is somewhere between secondary and primary, secondary and tertiary. All right. What are the goals? Because you go from concept direction. Like I really don't know what the problem is yet. All right, where was I? Fuse, make that more important. Maybe take your footers, bring them into the document itself. If you use them other than headers, use them only once. Give me a little verbal description. Here, push the lock, which unlocks a, it's not spring loaded, but not pressured, I don't know, a loaded live hinge, and retrieve your OTF. Also, what makes your concepts better than all the other concepts in the room? How does the dosage counter work? Some basic questions I'd like to see answered. Yep. Ouch. Once again, ouch. Yep, you set for the good problem. Come on, Miss Turlock, get in the game. Cool. These feel better. Let's get rid of that. This needs to be more important because yes, it's gestural, form exploration, focusing on abstracted natural forms, movable furniture elements, and something. To make that a bigger statement. So easy to read text, cool. Borderline too small, it's difficult to read. Then we get down to 1 to explain how that works. Good problem statement. Segue into this one, like pros and cons. Pros and cons leads you to this. Pros and cons. Seems like that's the most favorable direction. All right, to be continued. All right, name of building. I just want to look through these real quick and see, does it fit the format you presented to me before? Because all of a sudden I'm reminded of those hexagons you love so much. All right, let's do this. Yep. Cool. Can you pull your information in a little bit? And you got to include some type of third prize logo. Okay. Yep. It's got to be formatted. What's up with this white outline? I hate it. And then the part that you've been talking about today, like there has to be justification for these activities in the space. It's not a makerspace. It's like a Lee's library. What are the essential things that benefit two parties? One, why is it a deal for the community, better than a makerspace? Two, why you being the proprietor and owner of this hypothetical space, what things are you pushing for that you believe in that might not be backed up by research and publications, but it needs to have in order to have a certain cultural significance. We got to fix that too. Maybe that goes across the entire top. Maybe these get a little smaller, but it was sitting in that lower right-hand corner. Sorry, lower left-hand corner. It's weird. All right. Good idea. Show me what it looks like. All right, lots of things to do, you know. Didn't I look at this? Yeah. Yeah, I already looked at this. Saw this one. Right? Is it late and I'm going crazy? No, I remember talking about this. I remember talking about that logo. Let me just zip through it real fast. Yeah. Yeah, I talked about this. Gotcha, that's new. How do we make this legible? Same problem. It's a great graphic, but how do you make it legible? Cool. We talked about more of the heart of the matter. System overview. Nice. I mean, this is what it comes down to, right? You have multiple stakeholders. How do you balance it? So the balancing of things are going to come soon. Go with it based on our discussion today. Yep. Talked about this already. What happened? Wait for it. It's a pixelated image. Don't do it. Also, you need to get... It's occupying too much width. I want like 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/4 inch on the sides. So push these in just a little bit. Also, the surface should be more emphasized, because right now it's in the priority number 2. It needs to be priority number 1. I totally buy this, but I wouldn't say it's the thing that makes the playground look so much fun. Playground surfaces, the unappreciated hero of playgrounds. Maybe that segues more entertainingly. I do like the pros and cons. Man. Alright, so back to this. I like the types of surfacing. I think you put yourself in a difficult situation with this slide, though, because you're asking how do you make it more playful and interesting. I think their concepts are pretty playful and pretty interesting. So I might pick other ones that show it more of a bland use. It make me dream a little bit, like, oh yeah, this could be better. Seats. I think these should be full bleed. That guy's fine. This needs to be full bleed. Insta-mound. Sure, retention wall. But keep in mind, what are you working on? A playground. This is what a happy playground looks like. So, when you do get these things installed, one, human skill would be helpful, because I'd never really know what skill we're working with, or if you have different mound iterations. And show me that they're fun. I mean, that's the entire point of this, right? Osmosis. That's what I want. Is this the other? Please specify. I think I said it last time. I'm fine with an alternate approach of conventional dosage form, but it's hard for me to buy this every single time. Imagine you didn't take pills. What other form of medication? Intravenously. I don't think it leads to this. This is more interesting, right? Instead of asking, like, dream with me for pill taking, with people who aren't really conditioned to dream, people have issues with pills and they don't like the taste of medicine, but we still need to deliver medicines to people. What are different ways we can do this? Oh, oral thin film. This is what it is. This is how it can be helpful. Do you explain what OTF is? You do. All right. Okay, so what aspects, yep, same problem. What aspects does this delivery system need to have in order for it to be successful? Then you can sketch going for those identified goals. I do like the little grooves. I think a sequence of use. Show me a twist, pull, twist. I don't feel like I'm done either. Like this, it needs to be sitting in like his room. It feels lively. I mean, color has something to do with it, but it feels like it should be on some kid's counter. Like, yeah, I don't mind taking it, or like in a backpack. So add a little bit of context to it. I feel like just some written content here would also be beneficial. All right, looked at this in the other one, so we're good. Use the link instead, okay. Small change, a little intuitive change is, instead of this being just like, it feels like a bruise, could you shrink that down, I don't know, 5%, and then use this color and do a no fill, what color is this? Dark mauve, circle around it just to reinforce, hey, this is the area that we're getting into. It is more dynamic, more immersive. Are there better words for this here? If not, don't do none. Cycles, cool. Sketches. Yeah. I was checking on your tab system to the left, which breaks into what categories? App, energy, and meal. Very nice. So app. Bars. Nice. Those look tasty. I want that. And then meal system. Might combine content of this in the last screen. Yep, Photoshop it. Delivered nice. Alright, go with it. How do I get back? I'm lost. How many do we got? 1, 2, 3. Alright, I can do it. If you say so. Images, come back. We were having such a fun time. Huh, cool page. All right. Goal. We got to move. A common known example orange film is the Listerine pocket pack. I would put that in between. Hey, we need to make it moisture resistant. Show me a pocket pack on the next page, which is going to be between these two. Pros of the pocket pack. Does these things. Negatives. Our opportunity for this is something. Let me see what it reads here. through our surveys we found. Okay, so I think it's justified. Give me a bit more context about oral thin films, positives and negatives, and why there's a need for your creation of a design. I agree with that. I think my vast experience in English, I want to correct you on this one. When applied to the tongue or cheek, the medicine dissolves quickly. Feels like a weird run-on. If OTF is made of a water, is it made? Oh, it is made. The OTF is made of a water-dissolving polymer. That doesn't work. Never mind. I'm wrong. What I want to say is the OTF is made of a water-dissolving polymer that, when applied to the tongue or cheek, dissolves almost immediately. This needs to be redone. Superior to pills, medicine is absorbed within 2 minutes opposed to 30 minutes. Yeah, I don't buy that. I mean, they might have said that. The problem is, like, the people that were asking, I don't really think they're comparing all the conventional ways of taking medicine, and you're not doing that. It's a brand new way of taking medicine, so it's almost like the two categories aren't really paired up nicely. Is there another way we can do this? Because our eyes are attracted to the areas of highest contrast, so you've got like this black on white. Is it possible to knock down the opacity of these so they're still legible, but doing it in like a light blue or a frosted white, where that's the most interesting thing? I'd like to see another version of it. You better tell me what the other needs are. I'll be irritated at you. Okay, cool. I don't think you need to tell me this, because it's kind of implied. You had a company that came and gave a project to you. They didn't just do it out of the goodness of their heart. They needed things. So for me, this is an implied statement. We already know that. Okay, remembering to take medication. I want you to give me some more takeaways. Like, it has to be these things. It's got to be metered, moisture resistant, discreet. These are the things our solution has to be. The problem with using Listerine packs is it kind of goes in between. Like I said, you should put it here. So there's something else you can use on this page, because you're getting into a market, but in a different way. Like, you're not competing against other oral thin film packages. They don't exist yet. So this is why I think this is a bit weird to show the Listerine packs here. Okay, so based on the three things it has to meet these criteria in order to be successful. People say they want them to continue to be blue. That's weird. Okay. In these sketches, what were you going for? What sketches said more potential? Which ones you kind of said, I liked it, but it didn't work out? And why are these the most successful ones, other than they look cool? Right? They hit the criteria, but what criteria? Downside with this is, come on, my brother, I need you to round the edges. Put like, I don't know, like a 16th inch radius edge on here. Is it radiused? I don't know. And it is. I take that back. Maybe it just needs to be re-rendered. It's the opposite of sexy. It's just like, man, that's another thing. Pop count. Why has it got a K on it? Just curious. Perhaps we move this into 2 pages because they've been shrunk so small it's hard for me to tell what you're trying to accomplish. I see shapes. I just don't know actually how you refined it. So maybe, 1, 2 row in the first page, a big row on the third page. So this page, next page, blow it up, and you can still connect it with this loop. Zoom in to explore each concept. Okay. Client feedback is good. Visual. Yeah. Alright, that's about all I can give. Hey, you're working on this today. That's great. Whip it up, whip it up, whip it up, whip it up. Good. I like it. Yep. Broken down into sections. Alright, I think I like the page layout. The only issue that I'm having is, let me go back and read it. Is there some type of subtle way? I'd like the color palette of this project, but app, energy bars, and meal kits is part of one giant system, but you're explaining them in chunks. So I like to know that this section is the app. App stops. This section is the bar. Bar stops. This section is the more meal plan. Is there a subtle way you can remind me? My very late at night idea for doing this is almost like what Jane Lean did. And you might hate it and not want to do it. And I support your decision. But let me have a bar here that says app. All the ones you're talking about the app. Once you're talking about the bar, have bar. When you're talking about the meal system, talk about the meal system. Other than that, stuff looks good. I need a statement here, though. Imagine like you actually made these things and you did a test group with some ladies who really dig your project. What would they say about it? I don't care if you make up a fake person. Like, give me the feel of someone who was in your alpha testing or beta testing. Why do they love this so much? For me, that wraps up the emotional aspect. And like you're providing a service and a solution on about half of women. How they feel about this. And that's why I feel like these ladies are here, but their voices are silent and their eyes are covered by themselves. So, tell me their story, young lady. Man, I am losing my ability to control my brain. Better's better. Butter. Feet running along a dot. You got it. Cool. All right, accessibility. What are these barriers? Plays important. Some of the spacing needs to be worked out here. Question, do you want to show a picture of Amanda Butler to drive this home that this is a credible source? It shouldn't be like this is primary, secondary. Is the face too attention grabbing? Just a thought. Sketches. All right. In order for this to be a successful project, what criteria must it meet? I do like the broken down feel like the word starts with the A, but I can't pull it up. Schematic, the broken down schematic of how the game could be played and its different versions. I believe that is good. Prove it. Cool. Alright, these criteria should be mentioned. Expand, develop, and connect. Expand, develop, connect, yeah. Suggestion. I do like red. Could you try some complementary colors that are in the red family? So I'm going to do RGB. I'm saying that they're complementary. It's just all of our brain can think of right now. So you have red is expand, RGB. Green is develop, and blue is connect. That way when I transition into number 2, same styling, but RGB. Green, that way, okay, we're talking about topic number 2. Blue, we're talking about content number 3. Just a suggestion, because it reinforces that this is your criteria. Maybe this needs to be bigger. Maybe that needs to be a bit smaller. What if you flip-flop these? What if size them down a little bit? You have a face right here. You have Amanda Butler. Give him a short title. Take this chunk of information, move it up here, move this information down, and make it bigger, because primary, secondary, this information is tertiary, but it's not, because it's guiding the development or the explanation of your concepts. So that's why I think the project needs to change a bit. Did we do it? We did it. Good job, team.